Good evening, everyone. The fans' verdict. Just a big shout out to Sir Dunk. Evening, mate. Yeah, let's get straight onto it. Let's get all the fellow fans or yourselves your opinions through from the game that finished this afternoon with a defeat once again, 2-1 to Sheffield United. Jeremy Ngakia with a goal for the Hornets. So well done, Jeremy, on that. Just a massive shout out before I do anything to my old man. Happy birthday to my dad. Massive shout out as well to Lee Partridge for sorting out a couple of players coming to say happy birthday to him, and a massive shout to our partner in Reach, Terry Pierce, for sorting out hospitality for him to go to the View. That's my dad with Tommy Rooney, Big Tom, brilliant. I'd like to say massive shout out to them. Thank you ever so much. And as always, one more time as well, honoured and privileged to be in association with the TaylorMade Former Players Club. Obviously, head on over to Facebook for that. We'll throw out the link as always. So, yeah, big shout out. And remembering GT today, passed away a few years ago. I'm not going to say enough. I mean, if you don't know who Taylor is, you've obviously been living under a rock. The guy's a complete god at Watford. If it wasn't for him and Elton, we wouldn't have the club we've had in over the years gone by. So it was a fantastic tribute to him as well. Plenty of legends on the pitch. Gutted I never saw Luther or Barnsley there. I did ask around to find out what was going on. So I don't know what was going on there. Obviously, plenty publicised, but yeah, shame I didn't see Luther as well there as well. But let's get straight onto it, mate. To the game. Disappointing, wasn't it, again?
I mean, compared to the Cardiff game, that was night and day in terms of application, at least. I mean, at least we saw the team try and graft. I thought Kembe actually looked a lot more mobile than the last couple of showings, which was just as well. Loser continues his resurgence in the middle as going from on the fringes to being an absolute linchpin to the squad centrally now. I liked the idea of having Bar, Chatfatadze, and Vatter up front because you have a lot of you have a lot of creativity and pace, and I think at points we did show that. But it's clear that Bar doesn't work down the middle because he works best when he can isolate the fullback and just have him run at them. When he put him centrally against centre backs, he's bullied, which is not a big surprise. And I think the problem we have is that we don't have a balanced team. And that's not a surprising thing. We know that already, but because it's not balanced, we need this January window to help fill out a few areas. And that's putting one side Daniel Bachmann, as we saw at the very end of the game, go down in severe pain, stretch it off. I don't know if you saw Cleverly's comments, Pidge, on Bachmann, that it's positive. They've ruled out it being either an Achilles tendon and they've ruled it out being an ankle dislocation. So it's not the worst case situations, but we don't know any more than that. What are your thoughts on it, Pidge?
Yeah, sorry, mate. Go on, finish up, mate. Sorry.
That's all right. That was it there.
Yeah, I mean, Clevs did say in the post-match as well, obviously talked about disappointing, result and all forth. But firstly, went in with Dan Bachmann. Firstly, can I just say, wish him all the best in his recovery. Hopefully he makes a speedy recovery there and gets back in the fold as quick as possible. Did look nasty. We caught a bit of it as we went into the View. Someone said, "Oh, Bachmann's down," because we left just before, and we were looking out the window and wish him all the best, mate. Yeah, go on, you go, mate.
Yeah, so what it was, at the very end, I think it was one of our fullbacks, I think it might have been potentially Larucci, who was guilty of it when he came on, where he watched the ball bounce just ahead of him when he was the last man, which was quite terrifying. I think he was one of them, where the ball bounced, their player obviously latched onto it, fired a decent strike at Bachmann's near post, who parried it, sort of jumped up, parried, but the technique wasn't very good, where he sort of jumps up and he throwing his limbs out as he's done it, and as he's come down, he's landed very awkwardly over his ankle. Looks like ankle leg. However he landed was not good. And yeah, eventually he was eventually stretchered off like minutes and minutes after the final whistle. So at that point, you're thinking, what has he done? He's done his ankle. Is it Achilles? It looked like an Achilles or that along the lines. It did look that bad live. Was the reaction after? But if it's been ruled out, like I have been critical of Batman. I have been asking him to be dropped, but I'd never wish an injury on any of our players either. That's not how you support your team.
No, I posted straight away on the way back. Anyone who's cheering that is a disgrace and should be going to the games. I mean, I've been critical of him, but I've also praised him. I'll tell you what, I would put a bit of praise on him. The fact that he can be blamed for either of the goals. I mean, especially the first goal. I mean, some people have got short memories. I mean, this is very, very small amount I'm saying, because most fans are pretty clued on to what's going on. The danger was there before that goal. You know, he already saved the 1-on-1.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, so he was sharp out for that. To credit for him, he couldn't do anything about that goal. I think it's Hamer, if I'm not wrong. Hamer scored it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And then the second goal, I mean, there's guys behind me. I mean, they're perfectly entitled to their opinion, saying, oh, we should have done this, should have done that. The thing is, though, you look at it, and once again, as a unit, I'm not blaming literally the centre-backs in particular, but as a defensive unit, no one is closing down these players on the edge of the box, even in the 10 yards out, let alone 15 to 18 yards out. He's allowed to have a shot, and it flashed across Batman's goal. Unless we're right behind the goal or right in front and see that from a closer replay, I couldn't see much what he could do about that, to be fair.
No.
So I would, Batman does get a lot of stick, mate, but today it was all down to the defensive unit. I mean, the first goal, you block and running through the middle. The defenders need to be tight because they were trying to play it behind every time. I mean, O'Hare, the two main players for them today, I mean, they're quality anyway. The two ex-Coventry boys, O'Hare and Hamer, quick, agile, nippy, small, everything that we seem to struggle with at the moment. And they just seem to dictate the play, a lot of it, especially first half. Second half, sorry, I will stop in a minute. Second half was miles better. But like I said to Dino on the way back, yes, it was much better, and I'll credit them that we had a good go at them. Should have got a goal, but we didn't. But the thing is, though, why are we doing that in the second half when we're already 2-1 down? Would it be nice if we were playing on the front foot at home when it's 0-0? It would be really, really nice, because I bet TC's pulling his hair out over this, because it must be something that he's seen it all season. And he must be going, well, what can we do to rectify this? Because once again, another early goal. Surprise, surprise. And it puts us on the back foot too easily, mate.
Yeah, I think the reason why we got into the game was because of Hamer's injury, to be honest. Because we were sitting, it was intentional from Cleverly. We were trying to sit back today and do more of a counter style of game rather than try and dominate the ball, because we don't have the consistency in our game to do that. So we went for the safer sit back, hit him on the counter. And yeah, it does lead to the risk. And what we saw was, as you said, Batman saves the early warning. Then they've got the first goal. And neither goal today I'm blaming Batman on at all. I have blamed on goals in the past, but neither goal he conceded today was on him. Although he did get very lucky with that Cruyff turn that he forced up.
Yeah. What's your opinion on that? Because me and Dino had a debate about it. They are, and the missus as well, they're both right in some ways that it was a bad ball, but just put your foot through it.
Exactly.
Really?
It's decision making, and I just feel like Batman's decision making has got worse. Before his Norwich injury, I thought Batman was playing at a good level. I had no concern with him. Since his injury, Batman has not been the same goalkeeper, and I do wonder if he's... Somebody mentioned it to me earlier today, and it actually has stuck out. He hasn't looked as agile since his injury. I don't know. It's really hard to quantify that, But in the eye test, they're right. He doesn't look as agile as pre-injury. So I wonder if it's still feeling the effect of that in some form or another. Because I don't think he's not hit the same consistency of form as earlier in the season since that point. So, and it was definitely clear that Cleverley was asking to play short, because we were playing, and this is one of the things I talked about earlier, between Bar, Chatvatadze, and Vatter. What do they lack between them? It's height. It's height and strength. If you go long, none of those three will hold a ball against a centre back and be able to bring it down. So I understand what Batman was trying to do for the team, and that's try and play it short. And that's where it goes back to what I was saying earlier, the decision making in possession. The apps, like, that's why he did it early in the game, and it worked. That Cruyff turn. So if you remember that, I think that was in the first 10 minutes he did that.
Yeah.
He had two players, he had one player pressing, one waiting. Cruyff turned the first, and then pass it to, I think it was on our right-hand side, so it would have been Andrews or Pollock.
It'd be Andrews or Pollock, yeah.
Yeah, in that case. But he was trying to play it short because we didn't have the personnel to go long. So I understand what he was trying to do. And he's doing what Cleverley would very much have drilled into the team. Don't go long. We don't have the personnel. It's not going to help us. But his decision-making on the ball isn't good enough to make it work reliably. And I think I'll come back to the moment, HJ. I'll come back to that. But I think his decision-making just isn't there for passing the ball reliably. And given how we're trying to play, that's a huge problem. So I'm going to jump topics here and go to Miles Roberts, actually.
Yeah, go for it,
I've been keeping an eye on Miles since his loan. I think I might have mentioned it a couple of times in the past. And I am a huge fan of what he's doing.
Alfie Marriott as well. I'm a big fan of Alfie Marriott.
I'm a bigger fan of Roberts and Marriott.
Yeah, Roberts is more advanced forward. Yeah, I mean, out of both of them, 100% you'd have Marriott first. Not Marriott, Roberts first. Roberts. Yeah.
There's this brilliant post by Steve Clark on Jaglytics, right? And these were the key points from it. So the point I want to take away was he's saved 6 more goals than he should have let in, which is brilliant. He's above average in the air. He's a very, like Bond, actually. People forget that Jonathan Bond is also a decent sweeper keeper. But Miles Roberts is a very good sweeper keeper, looking at this. But his distribution is an area of weakness. Whether he went long or short, he does give it away quite a lot, whether it's inaccurate or out of play. And he's also very good in 1-1s. He's very aggressive and quick coming out. Those were the observations I made, or those he's made, and ones I'd gleaned from reading the forums earlier before that blog post came out. So, but you have to caveat that with that, Batman played in the Scottish Premier League for, I think it was Kilmarnock. I think it was Kilmarnock.
Yeah, it's Kilmarnock, yeah.
But Miles Roberts is playing in the level below. So you have to caveat those really good looking stats against the fact that it's not in the same level. And I would love to, I think Roberts, given 2 years, I'd get him a League One loan, either this season, next season, make sure he's got that, and then I introduce him properly into the team, because I think he's got, like, I remember watching his warm-ups when he was doing third duty goalkeeping. I always pay attention to warm-ups. I love my goalkeeping. So what I noticed was his shots, like how he chose to save shots, was very good a lot of the time. He really chose the wrong type of save, whether it's a kick save, whether it's a K block, or whatever else. And he always seemed to save a higher quantity of shots than the average, than most youth keepers, including Marriott and others. His decision-making and technique was very good. But again, that's a very small snippet. That's you can't judge a keeper on that alone, but it gave an indication he had more to his game potentially than just non-league or otherwise. So I'm not claiming I knew a huge amount about him before now, but I did see something there. So it's interesting where that goes on, really.
Yeah, it is, mate. Actually, I mean, like I say, you're a keeper. I mean, I was only for a little bit. I mean, you've been a keeper pretty much all the time. I mean, you know much more than me about that. So you can, like you said, you're studying and watching the type of body movements and the techniques and how he's doing it. So yeah, no, that's good insight, mate. Definitely. Right. Let's get all the comments through. Come on. You know you want to. It's a Saturday. Right. Evening, legends. That's from Big Dave. Halsey said, evening, guys. Sounds a great day out for many folks. Shame the result didn't go our way. Mournful on Twitch. Hello, mate. He says hi, guys. Mr. Thorpe, evening, mate. He says hi, everyone. Happy New Year to all Watford fans. Philip Crouch, he says, loser plays no balls that create anything, and most of his passes are sideways or backwards. Most of the time, he was getting the ball deep inside our own half. Yeah, like HJ, evening HJ, he says, well said. The horrible comments about Batman are a disgrace to our fans. So true, he said about the start. It says, took us 60 minutes before we started passing forwards and running out on the flanks and being more positive. Halsey, I think as a fan base, we need to accept we will finish mid-table as long as we don't get any relegation problems. HJ against us, Marl Roberts, like we've already said, is as announced in the last few minutes, is leading Partick Thistle. Crouch, he says, where it was Jefferson again, not even on the bench, just send him back to Bournemouth as a complete waste of time. Jason Bourne, good evening, fellow Watford fans. Halsey, Alfie May is another handy forward. Doubt he will come to us, though. Good shout, though. Jace has said, good evening, Pidge. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. I hope you're well. Happy New Year, mate. HJ, hopefully we can play him versus Fulham. That's Miles Roberts in the FA Cup and see how he gets on. Backman's very popular up here. That was during his spell at Kilmarnock. Yeah, cheers, JC. I'm good, mate. Nice to see you at the Plymouth game early in the season, mate. Hope you're well. Hope that is the last we see of. So I hope that is the last we see of Backman. Yeah, we'll skip that. I hope we wish Backman a speedy recovery from Jace. Look, you know, like him or hate him. We just hope he, you know, it'll be a good backup Backman when we do get another keeper. But you know, he couldn't do nothing about today. You know, we just didn't do enough, and that's on the whole team today. No blame on Backman for me. I mean, there was debate on was he blamed for one of the QPR goals, but today there was certainly no blame for me on Backman, to be fair. Jefferson apparently liked a message on Insta celebrating Sheffield United's win today, surely gone. At least he didn't do a more pay, mate. That's one thing I would say. Definitely. Go on, over to you, mate.
Yeah, I did see something on that, so thank you whoever caught that one. I think that was Nick G. So It wasn't just the fact that he liked it, but he also actually had a comment. He actually commented as well somewhere on a post. It wasn't anything too offensive, but it's more a case. I think he was celebrating one of his former teammates. But again, it's I get why players might do it, not really thinking about how it's perceived, because it might be, yeah, I got on with well, you know, well done, but then how it's perceived by us is that, are you committed to us? That's how it's perceived. So I'm not overly fussed by it, but I get why people would be because of how it's perceived, the optics of it. It's my take on that one.
Right, man of the matches as well. Give us your man of the matches. I know it's an hard one because we defeated. Usually when we win, there's a plethora of comments going on about the man of the match. I'm going to give it to Jeremy Ngaki. I'm delighted he got his goal. I mean, he's had a lot of stick. He's had a lot of injuries, and I'm glad he's had a go. He didn't do too much wrong today, to be fair. I mean, there's probably one or two disagree with that, but please put up your man of the matches. I'll give it to him because he scored his goal, man of the match. But yeah, Andrews did well as well. Some Nick, yeah, good shout, mate.
Yeah, wouldn't be my man of the match, but yeah, he would. I would definitely say he did well.
Yeah, What's that, mate?
I'm still having a think about who I'd go for.
No, what's
Again,
that link,
and
mate?
Gaki is a really strong shout. Even putting the goal aside,
Yeah.
even on our position at left wing back, you can see, and we had this when he was playing at Millwall and others. You lose some of the width naturally, but he's a really balanced player. He's very good at sticking to his defensive duty while still going forward. It's just purely his fitness, not the quality that's been his problem. Again, that is not a bad shout. He forced I think it was one or two fantastic saves from Cooper, who was brilliant for them. He's someone I've really, really highly rate, and I think he's a Premier League goalkeeper. I think Cooper for them, honestly, because he was at Plymouth. I think it was at Plymouth for quite a long time. I think he came up through the ranks there. He had the same goalkeeping coach pretty much through. I think even it was like from very young age, like 8, 9.
Yeah.
And he's progressed pretty much the entire way, including at Plymouth. And I don't know if he moved to United, not that goalkeeping coach with him, but the Cooper is a brilliant, brilliant goalkeeper. And it's no shame not being able to get a shot past him at times. Because I've seen him win games for United single-handedly. He's very balanced, very good. I wish we had him ourselves. So, that is a good shout because he did force some very good saves. Looked dangerous. Bar when he got moved to the right-hand side rather than the middle. Looked dangerous when he moved to 4-3-3. But I think I said this earlier. We only looked the final 30 minutes. Part of the reason why we looked so good is because they had to take Hamer off with what looked like a left hamstring injury, which meant they had to bring on a more defensive player, which then gave us the initiative to then put Bio on, put a focal point that we'd lacked up to that point. And for all Bio faults, he did at least give the centre-back something to think about. Until United brought on their centre-back, went 5 at the back, and to their credit, they were very hard to get past after that point. Wilder had the wake-up call that Vata had his 2 dangerous shots. I think Georgie had one as well saved. Was that the cutback that Cooper saved? I don't recall. I can't remember who took that one.
I think it was, yeah. I mean, we got a lot of joy when we got on the edge and tried to cut the ball back.
Yes, we did.
Where they were weak. They were weak on that.
Yeah.
One weakness, wasn't it?
So at that point, Wilder, in the last 15 minutes, went 3 at the back. And what you saw there is what we've lacked a lot of this season, that defensive noose, that ability they're not having to do too much last-ditch defending. Their shape and their understanding of when to press, when to drop was fantastic. And despite having really good creative players in Bar, Vata, Chatford Tadse, losers passing when trying to get cross field and get behind is brilliant. They have to give credit to them. They were very good at shutting up shop. And I don't think we really troubled them too much the last 10, 50 minutes after that.
No, I'll just right. Just before we get on to the next week, what was that link you just put in as well?
Oh, that link. That was the blog I was talking about earlier about Miles Roberts. If people want to have a deeper read into that,
copy and paste these guys, or it should be a link in the comments. Should come up as a.
It's under Facebook.
hyperlink.
Yeah, that one there.
Yeah.
So if you copy and paste that link in.
Cool, mate. I'll post that up on the forum later if you want.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right. Batman is an international keeper. We haven't had many of them in our team over the years. So from Halsey. Andrews did well. That's from Nick G. Yeah, good shout. Jace says, I'm also going to say fair play to the Sheffield United fans, who best behaved fans this season at the Vic so far. Yeah, fair play to them. Good, and they joined in with the applause as well for GT. So cheers, guys. Thank you very much. Yeah, they're really well behaved crew. So yeah, good luck for the rest of the season for Sheffield United and Wilder on top of that. My man of the match is Vata. Worked hard today. That's from Jace. Vata and Ngakia were good today. That's from HG. Thought Georgie was good again, Mr. Thorpe. Jace is saying Vata is still young, still learning, and I've liked him since he came to us and watched him in pre-season and in the Carabao Cup, and he's looked very impressive with his lightning pace. HG, yeah, the Georgia shot was a good chance. If that had been Bayer, the fans would have hammered him. Fair point, actually, mate. Here we go. Here's a question, mate. Also, did you give you a man of the match? Who was your man of the match as well? Because I gave it to Ngakia, but
Yeah, it's a hard one. I'm torn between Ngakia and Vata, but I think I'll give it to Ngakia for his goal and his overall work. So I think I'll go with you on that one.
yeah, I wouldn't have disagreed if you said Vata because I thought he played. It was a good shout from you, and like I say, Andrew's played well as well. Good shout from Nick. But yeah, do you want a cup run? I mean, I can answer this first. To be honest, no. I'd rather go for the league. It's a good question for Michael though. Anyone who's read that comment, put up your opinions about it. Would you want a cup run? Considering where we are in the league at the moment, or is that a no? Let's concentrate on seeing if we can get as high as we can. But what do you reckon, Dunk?
Yeah, I'd love a cup run. I mean, who doesn't really? You can't choose when you're going to go on a run or not. That's
True.
the biggest thing. If you go on a run, if you go deep in the cup, that's only good for confidence and for morale. And it's good for keeping fringe players engaged because they're still got something to play for and keep sharper. Yes, you run the risk of injury. Yes, I do understand the idea that if you go in a cup run, you potentially fatigue players by playing 5 or 6 games more if you get a really good run into it. But equally, the morale boost for the fans. Again, you get the cup money from it as well. And depending which one you get, could be quite substantial. I think the pros outweigh the cons on that one.
Yeah.
And as I said, you can't choose when you go on a cup run or not. So, yeah. I mean, look at like when we played Man City, we were expected to be completely tonked 6-7-0. In the end, we felt so unfortunate against them to come undone 2-1 at the death with the very unfairly ruled out bar goal, for example. And that was part of the run, and it was part of that sort of game that really set Bar's career alight. Because you're thinking, okay, what's this player doing? Oh, he's done it against Man City. Oh, he's done it against these highly, highly rated players, and he's made them look, slow and average. So it helps with player confidence, development, helps with the fans as well. Because who doesn't like a good cup run, despite what happens in the league sometimes? So yeah, give me that every day of the week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm purely saying it. I agree with everything you're saying about confidence and all that comes with it. It could kickstart us to going up the league. So, I mean, in that sense, yeah, that would be great. I mean, just the fact that I'd rather us concentrate on the league, but I'm looking at the pros that you're throwing out there. And if it all falls into place, and like you said, you can't choose when you have a cup run. If it does help us in terms of, momentum and confidence, then I'd have me view change straight away, mate. And if we go down further into the cup and it's helped us confidence wise, then yeah, absolutely. I'll certainly change my opinion on that and completely agree with you, fella. I think the only thing I would say is that all those factors that you said would be brilliant as long as we don't get any injuries. If we went through down the line and it affected us in some way because of the injuries, as long as we don't get injuries, and like you said, give a few of the fringe players a go as well, let them stake their claim for a league start, then yeah, there's only good things to come from it. So yeah, no, in your side, yeah, you are swaying me a bit more towards a cup run. Good, fantastic shout out there, Mike, by the way. Yeah, we've got Fulham away in the cup. Good shout, mate. What was the atmosphere like today? Must have been awesome to start with. Kev, I do apologise, mate. I don't usually go to the bunker. Nothing to do with Roy and everyone. They do an absolutely amazing job. So I would recommend if anyone can get down to the bunker, please do. Roy and the team do an amazing job down there. So hats off to them, but I don't usually go down there. How many new players will come in January? We can ask a bit about this, but we will go into more depth tomorrow. We're trying to get Wendover on so we can talk about transfers. It'd be me and Moobs at the moment. Should be getting Wendover as well. John McClane and the Canadian is on police training apparently, and Dino's out. Dino's been released from jail, so he's partying the night away, I think. So those two will be missing tomorrow, but we should get Wendover. Me and Moob Dino will definitely be there anyway. Kev saying no worries. Yeah, thank you very much, mate, for the Sabito set, though, mate. I will try and get down and get that sorted. Definitely start Doumbia versus Fulham and give him a chance. Yeah, good shot. I'll get your opinion on that in a minute, Dunk. Yeah, going all the way in the cup run is fantastic. I went to every game in the 1984 run, never forgotten. Very true, mate. I went to 2 or 3 of the was it the 18-19 run? Absolutely brilliant. Memories all round there, mate.
Crystal Palace at home memory comes to mind. Was it Crystal Palace at home?
Palace at home, mate. Yeah, quarterfinals.
Yeah,
right.
Quarters, wasn't it?
Yeah, sorry, mate. On the subject of what HJ said, yeah, I mean, I'll definitely start Doumbia versus Fulham. What do you reckon? You said yes, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, do you want to do your predicted Fulham team then?
Yeah, you go for it first, mate. You go in and I'll dissect your one.
I'd go probably. I think I'd try and do 4-3-3. I'd probably put quite a strong team out, I think, for actually. So I go 4-3-3. I'd go Bond. I'd go Ebisele, Ogbonna to help build his fitness, and then Pollock again. And then I'd have Larucci. So that's your back 4. I'd go Loser. I'd go Duomo and Ince for your midfield 3. And again, go straight. I'd probably go quite strong up front. So again, Doumbia down the middle. I'd have Vata left. And who would I have right? I might go Bar. Again, put quite a strong team out. Because I think there's no point half-arsing it, is my view on it.
Yeah, who did you put at fullback, by the way? Because I'll pretty much go.
It was Ebisele at right back and Larucci at left back.
Yeah, I'll pretty much go with that, mate. I think it'd be too early for Miles. I think he'll be on the bench. But yeah, I'll definitely put James Bond in goal, and the rest pretty much speaks for itself, mate. I say James Bond. I know exactly it's not James Bond, but you know what I mean.
I was wondering.
Yeah, no, I call it that anyway because I posted up a couple of memes when he started last time. License to save. But to be honest, he hasn't really put a foot wrong when he came in. So
no,
I've got no qualms about him starting.
No, I don't. And for me, that's what I was talking about earlier with Batman, where before his injury, you couldn't argue otherwise. He was in good form. He met the eye test of, is he at least average for the league, if not doing decently for the league? Yeah, he was. Since that point, he doesn't look quite the same. And the longer it's happened, the worse he's got with it. So, yeah, I think I said you have to be careful with Miles Roberts that you don't hype him up too much. And I'm a big fan of him for what I've seen. Because I've kept an eye on the highlights as well. I'm trying to watch all the match highlights of Partick Thistle, which are quite hard because they put it behind their own paid video service. So you have to try and rely on other teams' highlights. So, but from that, he's matching the eye test of he's got the right decision making, authoritative in the air. The sweeping I didn't pick up actually from the highlights. That was something I didn't see from the highlights. So that was news to me. But yeah, I don't know if Miles Roberts would be better served being second choice for our needs, because it might mean you save playing a potential first team player's wages for a Batman stand-in for that time, which you could put to outfield. And then, or do you accept that you don't want to stunt his development and you have to get someone in just to cover that period? I don't know. I don't have the answer on that one. I don't think Miles Roberts is ready to start for us yet, but he's definitely trending on the right path.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I think your first answer would be the one I would go with. I wouldn't hamper his development, and I'd put him as a backup, get him accustomed to the match day. You know, I'd say he already accustomed anyway, but with the squad that we got, accustomed a bit more with the match day squad. And yeah, I've got no problem with having Bond in a few more times. I thought he'd done really well. And 007, the shirt, like it. That's from Kev. We're going to shoot off in a minute, guys. Our defence looks more comfortable with Bond in goals from Nick. Also, HD, big thumbs up to you, Dunk. He said they like the sound of the team versus Fulham. And finally, don't forget, the Nigerian keeper was hyped up and didn't materialise for us. That was a shame because apparently when we went to the our place at the start of last season, that was the idea, is to bring him in. He was going to be the first choice, but then Backman showed a bit of form and they decided to move him on and keep Backman. Delve into that as you will, because that'll be certainly one hell of a talking point anyway.
Yeah, again, I can develop on that one as well, because
Go on.
Okoye went to Udinese, as you know. Silvestri was the starter at the time, and he was underperforming under every metric, and he was eventually, around January, February, dropped for Okoye. And Okoye was pretty much one of the contenders for player of the season at the end of it. He was a huge, huge reason why Udinese stayed up by that 1 point at the end, where they had to win against a direct relegation rival who actually went down, because if they'd drawn that game, Udinese would have gone down. That's how tight the margin was at the end. And I remember Okoye making one fantastic heading save from a header, a bullet header 6 yards out to his right and high, somehow using his huge frame, managed to tip over the bar, and it was a genuine world-class save. And I'm not exaggerating that. So I don't know why he struggled for us so much. Was it confidence or something else? Because there's a quality keeper there. And he's more than good enough for Serie A, so why was he not good enough for us? What was the catch? That's what I don't understand.
That's the conundrum, mate. I think this speaks 1,000 words there, I think, to be fair. I thought he was a decent keeper, but from the evidence that I saw, I was disappointed. But like you say,
I agree.
It's always a move that could actually reignite a career. And you think, Jesus, what player did we have? Because we certainly didn't have that player.
No, we
How
didn't.
many times have you heard that from for not Akure? I'm talking about other players.
Just generally,
Welbeck was a prime example. That Welbeck we never had.
I mean, that was because we spent. He joined. He looked okay, not a fantastic. Then he got, I think, an injury. Probably October, November-ish. I think it was.
Yeah, it's Tottenham, wasn't it?
And then after that, we spent quite a long time with his fitness, getting him back to fitness. And in the final run-in, when he actually did get a run-in, and he looked okay at that point, he scored that overhead kick, I think, if memory serves.
Yeah, Norwich,
and he actually looked up to speed at that point, but then we got relegated. As he was in touch to, he left because his contract expired. And obviously, he hasn't looked back since on that one. It's a shame. As you say, it's not the first time that's happened, but it's not Watford exclusive. That's just the risk of any transfer, sadly. It's not always going to work for various reasons, whether it's in our control or out.
Yeah, true. Right, okay, guys and girls, we're going to shoot off. Like I say, massive remembrance over to GT. The man, the legend, the god at Watford. Everything that's been said already cannot be repeated enough. The man is a legend. Mr. Watford, just like Watford's favourite son, Blissett, Luther Blissett, as well, which, like I say, shame he couldn't be there today. Cheers, guys. No, cheers, mate. That's fine, absolutely fine. Just remember, tomorrow night, you choose the topics, we will discuss them. That's TMA Sunday Night Live with me and Mubdinho. The other two scoundrels are taking a day off, so we'll probably try and get someone like Wendover on as well. So we'll see you then, 8 p.m. as always, and we'll throw up the thread to get your topics through before the show. But Dunk, thank you very much as always, mate. Duncan's Twitter is twitter.com/DuncanR_95 if you want to follow that man, please do. But
it's very creative.
That's very nice, mate. Very nice. You got anything to say, mate, before we go?
Yeah, I think I'd like to see a little bit more stability from Cleverley. He's done a lot of chop and change recently, and I think what we're seeing is a little bit of uncertainty on the pitch where what player roles are now. Early in the season, we saw 5-2-2-1, and that was quite rigid. And we did need to see a bit of adaptability there, but I think we've gone too far the other way, where the players aren't quite sure doing a 4-3-3 or 5-2-2-1 during the games now. So I think let's hope we get a good January window, we get the players we need, and we can just settle and make a proper playoff push.
See you later, guys.